honey, that Carlos is a plotting and a scheming and a scheming and a plotting child. We see you, Carlos. You trying to get that married to medicine. Welcome to my channel, baby. Sip Sensibility. Welcome to my channel, baby. Sip Sensibility. Hey, this is Sensibility Speaks. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
There were accusations from the girls that you would say things to them like, this show is called Married to Mariah.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. So, but the other part of that they're not saying is all of the ladies knew that it wasn't them I was at war with. That I would say, yes, Married to Mariah, or they knew that I was fighting a much bigger war behind camera. Whatever you saw on camera, the real war was behind camera when the cameras went off, when the lights went off. So if I didn't tell my story, if I didn't call myself the Queen Bee, Married to Mariah, people wouldn't even know I was an executive producer or creator of that show. Do you think those ladies would have told my story?
Yes, ma'am, Mariah, you better talk your talk, queen, okay? Heavy is the head that wears the queen's crown, is it not? I would toot my own horn, too, in a situation like that. Nobody likes a braggart. Nobody likes someone who likes to boast. However, to her point, she invented the show. She did the sizzle reels. She pitched the show to various networks, production companies, and whatever. And we learned this in her old interview that she did with Carlos on his platform, right? Or, yeah, on his platform as well, like this one. But yeah, honey, somebody else saying their prayers is not going to get you to heaven, right? Meaning, yeah, she had to toot her own horn because, child, the production company pretty much tried to snuff her out of her own show. So she had to let it be known and put it in the atmosphere and the universe, even though she had her legalities and everything on paper together. They wanted to snuff her out. They didn't want her to be the producer or an executive producer, talent, and all that. That was just too much power for one black woman to have. But she's like, child, I'm time enough for y'all. But anywho, so I don't blame her for saying Married to Mariah, okay? Child, play on words. But you know, I do believe those ladies were envious, because a lot of times when you're a visionary and your dream and your vision comes to fruition, you can't take everybody along. But who would think someone as esteemed as medical doctors, okay, would be envious, right? And I'm talking about the Dr. Jackies, the Dr. Simones, but you know, sometimes doctors can have God complexes. Not saying that the ladies have that, but there's a bit of egotism that comes with that, right? And honey, and far be it from me to try to downplay their accomplishments. I'm not doing that, not in the least. However, they didn't like the fact that Mariah was tooting her own horn and saying, yes, it's because of me that you're here. And I don't feel like she was trying to rub it in their face. And if she did remind them, it's because they were probably trying to do sneaky-ish and undercut her. But let's continue. And I wasn't even going to comment on this part. I'm going to get to the part as to why I did this damn video. Let's continue.
I have done plenty of interviews, and I always get asked, if you could do one show, produce one show, I always say the Braxtons or Married to Medicine.
Yeah, I can see that.
And please give me Married to Medicine. Like, I low-key was mad you didn't give me the show, but I was still like a whippersnapper.
You know what? It ain't too late.
Because I was like, my hands on these girls, I would love it.
Honey, let me tell you, one thing's for certain and two things for sure. That damn Carlos is a scheming mofo, ain't he? I knew it was a reason why he was all hot and heavy and invested in Married to Medicine, just like he is in the Real Housewives franchise, in particular Atlanta, because that was his baby, okay? We know he was a showrunner and all that. He made magic happen. But child, he is trying to get his hands on the production part of this. I knew it was something. Oh, scheming ass. Child, what y'all think about Carlos producing Married to Medicine? That's why he is all up in the girl's face. He's buttering up to Miss Queen Mariah. He all up in Messy Heavenly's face. So he's trying to get infiltrated in that. But see, all of the girls ain't having it, child, because one of Dr. Simone, who said he was just a blogger, and we know he's much more than that with his messy ass, okay? So we're not going to denigrate and marginalize his production company and prowesses. But I got a little bit more comments on that and a little further. But I just wanted to say this for now. Oh, scheming.
But it seems to me like that show is ran in a way that I've never seen or experienced, to where it's like there's people behind the scenes pitting you girls against each other, and that there isn't anybody saying like, you know what, that's not right.
Yeah.
And I'm a grown ass woman. I'm educated. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
And that's not the way I roll.
Is that the environment of that show?
I think so. I think they've created such a hostile environment with so much dissension that it scares me that they can't. I hope that they can find their way back to just being authentic. Because just if they're just all authentic, whether people love them or hate them, they will.
Now, that's mighty rich of Carlos to speak about a hostile work environment. Cough, cough. Love and Marriage Huntsville, child. We just now seeing this particular season pass where Melody got a bit of a reprieve from everybody jumping down her damn throat, even though they have backed up some, they still do their subliminals, okay? It's not to the extent to where it was, except for old Martiana busted down, okay? But his criminal minded ours. We know he's still coming for her. We know that Carlos had that meeting where he said he flew down to Huntsville for about 7 hours and had to meet with the cast. I don't know if that was collectively or individually, but he probably laid the hammer down and said, look, if y'all want this show to thrive and flourish, y'all gonna have to back up off the star, whether you love her or hate her. She's the moneymaker. See, Carlos might not be in love with Melody Cherie, and he might be on some old F-ish, but he know that's where his bread is buttered. So he gonna play that game because he knows how the millimeters get down and how Melody has a strong fan base. He's not gonna let Love and Marriage Huntsville suffer, okay, by letting everybody pounce on Melody. But I just thought that was pretty rich. But you did try it for a minute, Carlos. Okay, you did let them people come at her with Tisha and them and the Scotts and Wanda and everybody coming at her from every which way but loose, right? Trying to isolate her off her own show. We see you, Carlos, but you saw that backfired, right? You got a lot of scrutiny behind that. And now we got old Marty Marr running the goddamn muck, getting arrested and things, okay? Well, his narcissistic, sociopathic, borderline psychotic ours, in my opinion, and then allegedly, okay? But he's a producer, so he knows that you can only take it so far. But I do believe if the fan base had not turned on Love and Marriage Huntsville and they were down with the get down, with Melody Cherie being the scapegoat, okay, and them trying to isolate her off, I think he would have gone with it. But he knew better. Anyway, let's continue.
Because one thing that I want the world to know is this. I create shows for a living. When you create a show on the network, there's language, if you know how to do your contracts right, where you have the right to have spinoffs.
Yeah.
Meaning create spinoffs based on the ensemble.
Yeah.
If you were still a part of Married to Medicine, would you have created a spinoff for Quad? And if so, what would that spinoff be?
So,
Oh, now Carlos, now that is a loaded question, my brother. That's a loaded question. And Mariah's sharp. She see where you're going with this, okay? That's why she gonna get snappy with you a little later on. But let's listen, because I'm gonna break it down a little bit.
may not have been the first spinoff. You know, I would have spent off Married to Medicine in other cities. I absolutely would have done that because I think it's a medical hub in Houston for minorities, a lot of places that it just, you know, it would have catapulted. But for Quad, I think I would have did just something simple. I mean, back to the basics, finding love, or you know, her just being her fun. She's a fun girl. She's a fun girl. I think I would have just showed her outside of the group. It almost seems like it's starting to take away from her, to me.
All right, y'all, let's break this down, shall we? Okay. See, Carlos is looking for free game, Mariah. You better watch him because it's quite apparent that he's looking to have his production company eventually produce Married to Medicine if he could have his way, now that he's established and has proven himself to be a producer of having his own company, that is, right? And so that's one thing. And two, don't be giving him no free ideas of if he were to ever get the opportunity to do a show for Quad. Don't give him ideas in terms of how he would actually do it. You know, that's consultation fees. You're giving him free information for him to leverage. Now, it's not that she would ever have done a show for Quad, but hell, she could have used that same concept to do another show for another single woman, okay? Because I think she goes on to say that she will go on to show Quad as maybe dating now that she's divorced from Dr. G, and just how she's a fun-loving girl and just that whole road and that journey of finding love, okay? Don't be giving him that info, child. And even her giving the information about Houston being a medical hub, because you see he was looking really intently. He was like, shaking his head, right? He's locked in. Laser focus. Hell, he might try to do a Married to Medicine in Houston or something like that. Now, I know he can't take the idea to franchise. He can't do that. But again, if he were to get his hands on the production, he would try to spin off. Child, don't be giving people your ideas. And I know that she's a creator. She gets producer credits and creator credits, but I wouldn't give that information away. It's a method to the madness. He's just not reviewing these shows for the hell of it. Just like when he reviews Potomac, okay? I think if he had his way, he would produce Real Housewives of Potomac, because he critiques the hell out of that show. And not that he's not spot on and knows what he's talking about. Even though Eric Fuller was his protege, the showrunner, I've since heard that he may have gotten fired. I don't know how true that is, but honey, he is trying to insert his ass up into some things, child. Honey, I ain't gonna call him a bold weaver looking for a home, honey, but he is a damn producer looking to produce new shows, okay? He trying to expand and grow his empire. We see you, Carlos, child.
I love giving this show its flowers and having the platform to do it is because I really want eyeballs to be on this show.
Why? Why do you want eyeballs on the show so much?
Because as a Black person in this space, I know how we're marginalized. I know that
they marginalized me.
Come on now, Mariah, get them together, child. She was just like, why are you so interested? I know that's right. Okay, so a few things could be true at once, and he did try to clean it up. I believe him, but I also feel like he has an ulterior motive, okay? So basically, he's saying that he's giving her flowers, and he never looked at him rallying behind the show when doing the reviews and giving it a major platform such as his. I guess he views it as him trying to support her legacy, because he said when he was a showrunner for Real Housewives of Atlanta, he always felt like Married to Medicine was a show to contend with, that was the real star. So he always had his little beady eyes on that because he was a showrunner. He didn't have his production company at the time, child. It's a method to the madness, honey. Again, as I said earlier, that's why he's giving this show all of this attention, because he's trying to let the network execs, or whoever the powers may be and whoever they are, just letting them know all of the great things that he could do should he become the producer, okay? Who knows? But I do feel like he respects Mariah as a fellow producer and peer, and he knows her worth and what she can do, okay? Because in the beginning, I didn't talk about this. They did a tour of her whole studio to where she's going to interview people, allow people to do podcasts and film or whatever. I didn't get the ins and outs of it. But anyway, she has her ducks in a row, okay? But check out his interview in its entirety to see that piece of it. But yeah, honey, yeah, he definitely has an agenda. He has an ulterior motive, child. He's just not giving her flowers just to be giving them to her. He's giving them to her, but it's something in it for him. With him, what's in it for me? What's in it for you? Okay. But anyway, to close this thing on out, y'all drop that in the comments and y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think he's up to something? Y'all think he has an agenda? Because remember, he used to work with Candy and Todd, child, and he tried to take, allegedly, okay, the people say, according to Candy, that he tried to take her escape story, child. Well, he can't take Mariah's story because it's playing out, honey, and she won in court. Even though she's not a talent being seen on the show, she's still getting a cute coin, okay? But they do go on to say the reason she did the show is because she wanted to show another lens of Black people, as opposed to just the more urban love and hip hop and that type of Zeus type of bullshit. She wanted to show astute and affluent and opulent Black people, okay, educated and doing their things, right? She wanted to show Black excellence and Black professionals, okay? It is what it is. She said there's a space for that, but this is what I wanted to show, okay? That was her vision, to show that, and you can't be mad at that. But in the end, when Carlos said, who is the real villain of the show? Honey, I always felt it was Dr. Jackie and Simone gatekeeping and heavy on the Dr. Jackie. And Simone ain't too far behind, but definitely heavy on Jackie. I said that in another video where I reviewed one of the episodes of Married to Medicine, child. Yeah, them ladies are something else with them God complexes, and Jackie in particular. But in that lowdown of Simone, honey, I could feel the emotion exuding through the screen when Mariah said that her allegiance was to Dr. Simone because she delivered her babies. Her aunt was, or grandma or somebody was Simone's nanny, okay? And how she delivered her kids and I guess her sister's child or children or what have you, child. Simone's something else. So she's the one that's throwing the daggers in the back and then twisting them and pulling them out all with a damn smile, child. What did Carlos call her? Easter Bunny? She called the buck tooth and he called her Easter Bunny, child. and she calls him a blogger. But yeah, honey, that Carlos is a plotting and a scheming and a scheming and a plotting, child. We see you, Carlos. You trying to get that Married to Medicine. You trying to be the producer of that franchise. We know what you doing, child. You just ain't reviewing these shows with damn Dr. Heavenly for nothing. Honey, you're not all up in the girl's business for nothing, child. We see you. Anyway, this is Sensibility Speaks. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye.